Oh, here I am.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome. It's a daily podcast. It's a podcast done daily, sort of. I guess we are, though, on a roll right now. That's good.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast, episode 2377. It's the month of February, and it's not 2011. No, that was back when this podcast began. And now I'm singing done because I'm done singing, man. And that's it for this edition of the song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hey, those people that do the podcast, the Fuego and Sin City one.
Mike's
I'm saying it wrong.
Daily
Aren't I?
Podcast.
They liked the podcast where I mentioned them, which was the last one. And it was very nice to hear from them. And I'm going to now tell you the sonrisa. Fuego y sonrisa. Risa. There goes my rolling R. Wow. That's what happens when you grow up not rolling your R's. You don't learn that muscle. You should learn it. If you don't do it, you should do it. What's that song? Paranoia, paranoia. Everybody coming to get Harvey Danger. He sings, there's that one line in the song where he talks about, I got my tongue pierced. It doesn't hurt. It feels good. I would never pierce my tongue. I don't see how anybody who can work in radio or work in talking, the word, by the way, Twitter and Facebook, you can find me with the handle Mike Talks. So it's at Mike Talks, but yes, how you can talk and have your tongue pierced. The tongue is a very delicate instrument and muscle, and it needs to be not with a hole in it in order to work. But I don't know. That was a big 90s thing. A lot of people did that. Well, here's today's talk about...
And here's today's podcast picture.
About the podcast picture is a splendid picture. We will show you this wonderful picture that I took recently. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. I can't be more specific than that because there are people listening and I don't want them. By the way, I'm doing that a lot today. Sorry. I'm doing a lot of by the ways. The guy I was talking about on the last podcast, who is throwing a lot of bizarre conspiracy theories out there. That's right, Basil doesn't like conspiracy theories. The late, great Basil the boxer. He supposedly, get this, Basil, this will really shake you up. The fact that the person that was giving all of these crazy conspiracy theories, he kept mentioning his website. I went to his website. Nothing there. Nothing even there. No, as far as it had nothing to do with anything relating to vaccines or any of the stuff that he was talking about on the radio. He was talking about the website had none of that. And I think partly it's because the website is not run by him, but by a separate entity, a separate organization. And I'm sure, they're like, we don't want to be that controversial. So, many of us can face challenges that can be stressful, overwhelming, cause strong emotions in adults and children. Physical distancing, which, here's something, and that can cause stress and anxiety, making us feel isolated and lonely. Here's what I don't understand. When you're walking and there's some people walking the opposite direction and they are more than 6 feet away, I'd say a good 20 feet away, and the wind is blowing like it is now in the Bay Area, just gusting, and they see me and they put on masks. Come on. That's an insult. Do you remember back in the days? Remember Remember way back when? If you put a mask on in front of somebody, it was meant as an insult, or you were robbing a bank. I mean, you put it over your face. You smell. I want to put this mask on to help me. Now we just can wear masks and stink, basically. It's all right to smell bad. Apparently, the television show The Witcher, the Henry Cavill guy, the Man of Steel guy, he's in it. It's really popular on Netflix. Lots to do this season with people taking baths. And now they're doing the commercial for Old Spice. So it's all about smells. People smelling and stinking. There's that to consider for no apparent reason. Also, after a traumatic event, people may have strong and lingering reactions. Lingering. Do you have to? Let it lingering. Learning healthy ways to cope and getting the right care and support can help reduce stressful feelings and symptoms. I heard a pastor today speaking about, and he was telling his congregation, he said, I think you shouldn't worry. I loved what he said, actually. He said, I'm looking around. You can just look around here right now in the congregation and see that the people that are worrying, that worry too much. They got that look in their eye. They're worrying. And he said, and I've heard other pastors say that, worrying is basically, you can't do that as a Christian, because if you believe in Jesus, you'll believe that he'll take care of everything, and you shouldn't worry. And I forget the verse, but there's a verse where Jesus said something to the effect of, don't worry. My Father in heaven's in control, or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. God is in control of it all, which is actually from a David Bowie song. Yes. And I happen to be sitting next to my wall of CDs here at Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. And the ghost of David Bowie, in fact, has guided my hand to find the CD in which he said it. That's a good sign. Perhaps he's in heaven after all. One of the few rock stars. Although, I would like to see Meatloaf in heaven, even though he had several albums that had the word hell in the title. Back into Hell, Bad Out of Hell. He did play a preacher, though, didn't he, in The Pick of Destiny? Was his father a preacher? No. I think Meatloaf's dad was a policeman. Anyway, we're outside a Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. The song is called, and I would play it for you, but I would get dinged by YouTube, and you can hear this on YouTube as well. All my podcasts are on YouTube. There's a link at mikesdailypodcast.com, or you can go just type in youtube.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. It's not Night Flights. It's not Miracle Goodnight. It's not the wedding song. It's not I Know It's Gonna Happen Someday, which was written by Morrissey, which David Bowie said Morrissey was basically doing a version of the one, not the one Ground Control to Major Tom. Is there life on Mars? That's right. That's what he thought. Well, no, I don't see it. Oh, Paul's Athena. That's what it... Palace Athena. Palace Athena? Yeah. I believe that is the song in which... Or is it Looking for Mr. Lester? Looking for Lester, maybe. One of those two has a line that repeats over and over again. That says, God is in charge of it all. And so there you go. All right. All that to say is coping with stress. There are healthy ways. Take breaks from watching, reading, or listening to news stories. Take care of your body. Take care of yourself. Make time to unwind. Talk to others. Avoid drugs and alcohol. Recognize when you need more help. So you can, if problems continue, or you're thinking about suicide, talk to a psychologist, social worker, or professional counselor. Connect with your community or faith-based organizations. All of this from the CDC, cdc.gov. And the guy that I was talking about earlier, he is a strong, outspoken hater on the CDC. So last night, or the previous podcast, episode 2376, I discussed the thing about mindful eating. One of the people that I read from the Costco Connection that said that for 2022, they wanted to drink less alcohol, drink more water, reduce carbs, sugar, fat, and sodium intake, reduce all that, and get my mindless eating under control. Which is interesting because I got this mailer sent to my house from a thing called Noom. Wait, and it says on the front, mindful eating changes everything. Noom's program is designed by psychologists to help you build a healthy, lasting change. Because when you learn the why behind your eating habits, it's easier to change them. And then it has a bunch of people that love Noom, and quotes and pictures of people, and then it has a 3-month free coupon when you use the promo code. Oh, here it is, everybody. Use this promo code, Best Year. That apparently will help you get 3 months free. This is not an ad for them. It's just something I found that was sent to me about healthful, mindful eating, and about apparently it's about your relationship with food, fitness, and more. And it's built with lessons from psychology. I like this line here. Success means small changes, not major restrictions. So no to the major restrictions, yes to small changes. Small changes, it's amazing. I don't know if you've ever driven a boat before, but with a boat, a ship, you're out in the ocean. You make these subtle little changes here and there. And you got to do that because all of a sudden, if you don't, you're off course. You're running into a... Yes. You know what I was about to say. Iceberg. You're just running off course into danger. So these little changes help. Sometimes you got to make the drastic changes, but there you go. All right. This is what I think about this mailer, because I do not like junk mail, but I found that fascinating. Okay. Lingering on that topic a little bit more, or the topic of what we're going to do in 2022, which the Fuego y Sonrisa people also discuss on their latest podcast, which you can find on YouTube. Somebody wrote here for things they want to do. I want to, in 2022, buy food for those in need. That's fantastic. Another person writes, making time for myself and putting myself first so I feel refreshed and focused. So one person's thinking of somebody else, one's thinking about themselves. I want to push myself to apply patience with kindness. I just want to contribute good vibes. And another writes, I want to live my best life with my family and loved ones in a place of freedom, love, and respect for each other. Hear, hear. All right. Well, there we go. Outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. I promised my lovely lady friend this would be a short podcast so I could spend more time with her. It is her birthday month, and we are planning to go to Mount Shasta. We're going to do it on her birthday, and I'm looking so forward to it. We have not been to Mount Shasta in 2 years. I haven't been. She's been a little bit more recent than that, but it's been a long time. Last time we went with the late, great Basil the Boxer. In fact, let's post a podcast picture from Mount Shasta. How about we do that? Perfect. Thank you. Forget the other thing I said. Remember this thing I said. Not the last thing I said, but this thing. Not the first thing or the last thing, but that thing. So, we're going to go back there. We're going to bring the ashes of Basil with us. We're going to spend some time up there and see some beautiful sights. I'll take some more pictures and post them on mikesdailypodcast.com. And just, it'll be a fun adventure and a little time away, which I need. I had a really busy week last week filling in for somebody. and giving a lot of myself, taking on my job and his job, which is a very, very busy job on his own. A week in his life is extremely busy, and I had to take care of that and do mine. And I had a very busy week last week. So we need some time off, is what I'm saying. Outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in podcast, everybody needs a little time away. Look who's here. Hello, Michael Masters, Madame Rootabega, and I want to go to Mount Shasta too. Ooh. You could go with us if you want. Do you want to go with us? Yes. Do you want to see, like, bears and... Yes. Do you want to play in the snow? No. Oh. I guess because you get the frostbite or something. I don't like snow. It's too cold. Well, that's the whole nature of snow, is it has to be cold. But unless you're talking about that other snow. Scarface snow. But no. Oh, speaking of 80s movies. If you go to the web... YouTube page, rather... for a guy named Adam Wu. He goes to this place in North Carolina. It's a guy that owns a house that is full of video games from the 80s. It was very bizarre because I'd forgotten a lot of video games like Pingo. And I'm not a gamer, but I was, as a kid, I was a gamer. I think it's okay if you're a kid and a gamer. If you're an adult and you're a gamer, and if I talked about games and if I was a gamer, I would actually have a lot of listeners to this podcast because that seems to be a popular thing. But there was Pingo, Asteroids, of course, but that one, Gorf. Anybody remember these? The Journey video game with the band Journey singing Don't Stop Believin' and all that. He had all these old games. Sirius, spelt like the star. Or the constellation. Is that what it's called? Something like that. And the Moon Rover, Mission Command, Space Invaders, Pac-Man, all the rest. It was fascinating. And then he had just about every single game console that was made in the 80s. The Nintendo, was Nintendo the 80s? That was more of the 90s, I think. But Intellivision, Atari, ColecoVision, I think he had. Oh, it's amazing, all the stuff. And then he had this one tiny little game. It was one of these handheld games that was like a video game, but you could take it with you. But, the early 80s technology, it was called Dracula. And I remember my mom got me that, and the whole time I'm seeing all the stuff he has. I'm thinking, well, I had that once. Why don't I have that now? Oh yeah, I moved a lot. Oh yeah, at some point I said to myself, I need to donate this. I don't think I ever threw anything away, but it got donated. So some thrift store somewhere on some island, some planet somewhere has all the cool stuff I ever donated that I could have kept and been this guy. But his I think his website is I Adore the 80s or something like that. North Carolina. Anyway, Cafe Anyway. Andrew Wu has it on his channel. Look who else is here. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Mike, we love the video games we play all the time, so you just insulted us, D. Yeah, insulted it. Do you know that? Aw. Guys want to go to Shasta? No, we hate snow too. Yeah, snow's... Okay. Next show, it'll be the wonderful... Let's go with Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Chime in about anything we covered today. 336MM daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews daily, as in what this podcast has been for a couple of days. I don't know if I'll get interrupted tomorrow. We'll see. We'll do the best we can. That's all we can do, right? Right. And eat mindfully.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now
at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.